Number 10. Sit better. The Duchess of Sussex accompanied her new hubby Harry to the Queen's Young Leaders Awards, which honors youngsters from across the Commonwealth. The event was streamed on the royal family's Facebook page, meaning that the entire world could see this event live. But one royal fan was shocked by something that she spotted, which was the way that Meghan was sitting. But not just sitting, she's sitting with her legs crossed. While this just seems like Meghan getting comfortable to, most people, the proper way to sit in the royal family is to sit with knees touching and the hands on the knees. Instead, she just crossed her legs, and someone online was very quick to point it out. Not only was this disrespectful in general, but she was photographed sitting next to the Queen, literally dissing the woman right to her face. Now, I'm not big into the royal family, but I've been told this is very rude in their eyes, so bad Meghan! Number 9. Rude to royal staff. According to former employees that were unfortunate enough to work for Meghan while still living with the royal family, Meghan had a bit of a temper, especially when it came to the people who make her life easier. According to one caterer, Meghan and himself got into a heated debate after her vegan food was being delivered to her wedding. Meghan was in the middle of tasting a couple of dishes for the big day when she suddenly became very upset. According to the royal expert Katy Nicole, she was told by a source that Meghan tasted an egg in the dish that led to a very tense exchange. According to the source, the Queen actually had to calm Meghan down and told her that they did not speak to people that way in this family. The moment was recounted in the book The New Royals. Many behind-the-scenes secrets were revealed, with many examples of Meghan's misdeeds being put on paper for the rest of eternity. Number 8. Videographer diva. An industry videographer who worked closely with Meghan Markle before she met the prince revealed that she was already called princess in her Hollywood days for her difficult and demanding behavior on set. According to the cameraman, Meghan was known for bringing large entourages on set with her and laid down a strict set of rules for everyone involved with the production. The biggest was do not shoot her feet. Big no-no. Her feet became a hot topic of conversation after she took off her shoes during a royal tour in New Zealand in 2018, revealing what many thought was a scar from a bunion removal operation. It became apparent to the cameraman and the rest of the crew that she despised her own feet. Another man, a photographer, backed this story up by recounting a photo shoot that took place in 2015. Meghan was reportedly intense and turned up with an entourage of 12 people strong. The photographer, who wished to remain anonymous, said that they were warned about Meghan's behavior. Apparently, she showed up in disguise all of the time, and from the moment that she would enter the set, her attitude and demeanor was just plain rude. Number 7. Greeting mourners. The Duchess of Sussex, say that 10 times fast, was greeting mourners stationed outside of Windsor Castle on September 10th with her husband Prince Harry and the Prince and Princess of Wales when the incident unfolded. In footage that was wildly shared to Twitter, aka X, Meghan could be seen holding up a bunch of pink roses and talking to the crowd when an aide speaks to her from behind. The Duchess can be seen whirling around quickly with what many people claim to be an extremely annoyed face. Could just be how it sits, but she did look pretty angry. Meghan spoke to the aide for a moment, pointing and waggling about, when she snapped back, smiles, and nods. While of course there was never any word on what exactly was said or why it was said in such a snappy way, there might be a little bit of insight on that. According to one freelance journalist who claimed to be there, shed some light on the conversation that took place. Apparently Meghan just didn't want to hand her flowers over to the aide, simple as that, but she snapped in a very inappropriate setting, so maybe keep your composure next time. Number 6. Missing the king's coronation. When Charles was turned into a king earlier this year, many fans of the royal family were curious to see what the Duke and Duchess would do. Well, it turns out that while both Harry and Meghan were invited to the event, Meghan decided that she didn't like the king's reaction to her wishing to attend. After an interview that took place on Oprah in 2021, the royal family had been living on very thin ice. The king did not appreciate all of the dirty laundry being aired out for the world to see. Not to mention the fact that the couple were in the process of creating a Netflix documentary. While their PR team has claimed that the idea of Meghan actually snubbing the king is ludicrous, the proof was right there. Not only were there letters that proved that there was at least a conversation that took place, but Meghan not attending the event was a massive red flag. One of Meghan's biggest issues with the situation was that the invitation sent to them never included the children. Number 5. The Prince William altercation. So it turns out that these two are the original snubbers of this couple, being one of the several reasons that they decided to leave the royal family in the first place. According to their book, Meghan and Harry were deeply unhappy in their last year and discussed wanting something to change with the Queen and Prince Charles, who is now the king. This was before they took their infamous trip to Canada, where they officially started plotting their exit from Britain. According to the book, William was furious with his brother's decision, especially the way that he was handling things. So during the little time time that they continued to live in Britain, William and Kate were basically ignoring them at every single moment on every single day. Meghan was doing the exact same thing, but I don't know, it's kind of justified. Snubbing them on every carpet in the house. The most notable snub that took place on camera, however, is when the four of them all met at the gates of Windsor Castle, where Meghan and Kate have the briefest exchange, but it's just filled with icy glares and just anger before they snap back into photo mode. We're not 100% sure what happened behind the scenes there, but Meghan really does not like these people. Number 4, Judge Judy. Now I know what you're thinking, what in the name of all that is good in this world does Judge Judy have to do with the royal family? Well, let me tell you. When Harry released the memoir Spare, Judge Judy took to the talk show Good Morning Britain to express her hatred for the piece, claiming that if she were in a similar situation as the Queen at the time, she'd also be very furious. She went on to say that the idea of writing a book that shares intimate details to the public that they do not need to know is ludicrous, and anyone with a brain would see it's disingenuous. Meghan was asked to weigh in on Judy's harsh words, but during a phone call with her PR team, she called Judge Judy a hack and told her to get a life. At least that's what the PR team said. I've never spoken to Meghan, so who knows? Number 3, documentary. Netflix finally released all 6 episodes of the Harry and Meghan documentary, which was a documentary showcasing their lives as royals and the secrets that they keep. The series sparked massive amounts of backlash and controversy though, the main gripe being that the information they are sharing with the audience is info that they either already knew or stuff that just was not that interesting. The internet flooded with hate for this couple, especially towards Meghan Markle. The documentary only made her look like more of a diva than she had already been reported to be. The documentary was just an excuse to get hers and Harry's faces on Netflix. She's already been in several projects, but it's not enough. Clips shown on the series showcase her rude behavior time and time again. While the documentary was meant to be a way to paint the ex-royals in a new light, it ended up making them look like massive jerks. Number 2, Spotify. Only a few months after announcing their exit from the royal family, Meghan Markle announced that herself and Harry had signed a multi-year deal with Spotify to make a podcast. They claimed the show was designed to help build a community through shared experiences, narratives, and values. Their announcement did not include how much the couple was going to get paid though, which ended up being a modest $20 million. It's just your average everyday paycheck, you know, I get 21 every 2 weeks here. However, from the moment this thing kicked off the grounds, Spotify had grown reportedly frustrated with the couple's content and lack of productivity. According to the executives at Spotify, the couple were taking way too long to actually build up a team to make their episodes. There wasn't even a real structure to how things were going to be recorded. 6 months later, they produced one 33-minute holiday special. 6 months for 33 minutes, way to go. Many people started to question what was going on behind the scenes. In that 33 minutes, guests like Elton John, Deepak Chopra, Stacey Abrams, and a few others popped up to say hello, so why not just sit down with each and every one of those people for an hour straight? That's a podcast right there, so many people do it. Nothing came after this episode for almost an entire year, but eventually they hired an audio lead. Several people denied her requests to join the podcasts, like Taylor Swift, but the list is endless. Despite releasing regular episodes, the team posted on social media claiming all credit should go to the underpaid and undervalued producers. Apparently Meghan was very rude behind the scenes and extremely demanding. Shocker. Spotify eventually decided to cancel her show for a few reasons, but mainly it was because they spent a year of their deal doing absolutely nothing. Despite the success that the show eventually received, Meghan got canned for good, and some tells me that her attitude had a lot to do with it. And at number 1, Frogmore Cottage. The Duke and Duchess have lost their home base in the UK, Frogmore Cottage, which was the last home available to them. The cottage sits on 33 acres of land and was a regular vacation spot for the couple. But since having their home taken away, many rumors have circulated claiming that this might have been a result of some kind of behind-the-scenes feud. According to an insider close to Meghan, the couple were actually involved in a bit of a dramatic situation with the groundskeeper of the property. The specifics were never divulged, but the information released says that it was enough for the property to be taken back and for their deed to just be shredded. Many see this as justice being served. Meghan was under the assumption that because she's royalty, she can speak to anyone any way she wants. Well, hey, next time be nicer to the guy who holds the keys to your house. Number 10, Killian Murphy. Killian Murphy is not just the man behind the atomic bomb and the silver medal winner of the Barbie vs. Oppenheimer race. He's also the king of shade. A TikTok that has now gone viral shows a very awkward moment from 2017. During the red carpet carpet premiere of his film Dunkirk in London. This was before the royal wedding, before any of the public family drama really came to light, so the prince and his fiancée attended the screening as royals. During a brief interaction between Killian and Harry, everything seems to be normal. They shake hands and smile, but the moment that Harry walks to the next person, Killian just glares like he's trying to make Harry's head explode with his mind. While there has never been a confirmation whether there is some kind of feud between these two behind the scenes, according to several co-stars, that was the first and last time these two spoke that night. There's been some speculation from fans that claim to read lips that the interaction involved Killian correcting the prince, who wrongfully called him British when he is in fact Irish. Either that or he just has what many say is resting get me out of here now face. And that adds up. Number 9. Taylor Swift. This is an instance where Harry and Meghan were snubbed simultaneously. Taylor reportedly declined to be a guest on Meghan Markle's now cancelled podcast on Spotify. Meghan wished to get Taylor involved in an interview with herself and Harry, even sending a handwritten invitation to her front door. According to her publicist, the invite was declined due to Taylor wishing to steer clear of anything that had to do with royal or political issues, which is a very smart move on her part. Wouldn't want to accidentally get stuck on the wrong side of that argument. When she's asked about the situation by fans or on a live tour, she claims that the entire thing was blown out of proportions and that Harry and Meghan should clear things up on their end as soon as possible. This was around the same time that the couple were facing issues with getting their documentary released by Netflix, as well as the cancellation of her podcast. So, if you're attending Taylor's Era tour at any point, bring in a sign that says, "Why do you hate Meghan?" See what happens. Number 8. Elton John. Elton is one of the biggest names in pop rock history, so it's no surprise that he likes to throw a party or two with some A-list buddies. This year, he decided to throw an Oscars after party at his home after the ceremony, where the prince would normally be in attendance or at least stop by to say hi. In fact, up until this past year, the two were quite close, reportedly spending a lot of free time together. But something changed when he left the family. Things started to slowly grow sour and a rift began to split between them. This year, it has not been confirmed why Prince Harry and Meghan were not at the party, but many believe that they snubbed Elton and denied his invite to his face. According to some of the celebrities in attendance, the couple had been deemed nobodies for missing the event, with many claiming that it was actually Elton who told them not to come. Regardless of what happened, the Oscars red carpet was a little bit gloomy this year. Number 7. Katy Perry. When Harry decided to attend the King's coronation this year, he didn't know that he'd be running into an old nemesis, Katy Perry. Well, actually, they're not nemesis. They don't hate each other. It turns out Katy used to have a crush on Harry. While making an appearance on the Graham Norton show in 2012, another guest commented that Prince Harry loved the ladies, and Katy said she'd be open to it before flashing a big ol' smile. It seemed that the news got back to Harry though when it was announced that Katy would be one of the many acts performing at the coronation concert. Prince Harry made it his mission to fly home and get out of there as soon as possible. Well, it probably wasn't just because of that, but hey, big part for sure. Katy didn't even get a chance to shake his hand before he left, a moment she may never see in her lifetime. Number 6. Steven Spielberg. When Harry and Meghan moved to California, things were supposed to be better. More sun, more fun, and more A-list friends. But it turns out that most of Hollywood is not in the mood for a new buddy, including the director of E.T. and Jaws, Steven Spielberg. According to inside sources, Steven and Harry are actually neighbors in California. When they first moved in, Harry and Meghan had apparently went over just to say hello, but they were met with a very cold shoulder from Steve. According to several inside sources, Steven was just one of several celebrities on that block who were warned about getting too close to the Duke and Duchess. Apparently, the isolation comes from many celebrities not wanting to learn any secret information that may be used against them in the future. Imagine telling Steven Spielberg a secret so big he has to testify about it in court. That would be both embarrassing and fun. Unfortunately for these two, if they need to borrow a cup of sugar, they'll need to go to a store like the rest of the world. I don't know, does anybody actually share ingredients anymore? Number 5. Oprah Winfrey. Not only did Oprah have one of the most popular talk shows of all time, but she's also had a long history with the royal family. This past February, while celebrating the 25th anniversary of the makeup brand Anastasia Beverly Hills and Oprah's 69th birthday, many A-list stars were in attendance like J-Lo, Kim Kardashian, and Sharon Stone. But two stars that were not in attendance were Harry and Meghan. This was odd considering that Oprah was the woman that they decided to sit down with in 2021 for an explosive interview. Many have speculated that the reason they were never invited was despite using Oprah's show as a launching pad had for their story, but that they were going with tell-all memoirs and Netflix documentaries instead. Oprah had given them a healthy and controlled outlet to tell their story, but they instead chose to ignore her and go their own way. Oprah has never confirmed the shade that looms between herself and Harry, but not even inviting Harry and Meghan to your birthday bash? That's just a little insulting. Number 4. Piers Morgan. Piers is a man who is drenched in controversy himself for the most part. A few years ago, he was forced to walk away from a long-time hosting gig for spouting some legitimate nonsense that I will not go too deep into, or we might not be able to cover the prince. Following his split from Good Morning Britain, Piers started his own talk show called Piers Morgan Uncensored, which is exactly what it sounds like. During a segment earlier this year, Piers was commenting on Prince Harry attending the King's coronation, roasting him for even thinking about attending the event after spending the last 2 years calling them out in the media and online. He got into a very heated rant about Camilla being the best royal while calling Harry a hypocritical rat bag. This is one of those moments that did not take place on the red carpet, but that's just because people seem to be too shy to say these things to his face. Number 3. Noel Gallagher. The former Oasis frontman has had a long and rocky history with the royal family and his own. In 2021, while Prince Harry and his wife were attempting to craft their story into a Netflix documentary, this incident may not have taken on the red carpet, but we're including it on this list because it directly impacted the press tour for that project. While Harry was promoting his new project, Noel decided to go online and compare the situation between Harry and William to himself and his brother Liam, then going on to claim that Harry was a snowflake. He continued by claiming that Harry should just, keep his mouth shut from now on and call off this silly little press BS. Prince Harry, in true Harry fashion, never responded to the comments. Instead, Noel continued to rant over and over again, but the news story became a viral sensation. Unfortunately for Noel, the whole Harry sucks thing only made people want to watch the documentary more. Number 2. Meghan Markle. Another snub that was not on the red carpet per se, but this one is super brutal and it was caught on live TV, so let's chat about it. The Prince and Meghan were watching a Lakers game from a corporate box. They were joined by other A-listers that night like Adam Sandler and Kim Kardashian. The snub from Meghan came when the infamous kiss cam made its way up to the skybox. It takes a moment for them to realize what's going on, but when Harry goes in for a little smoochy woochy, Meghan rejects him and laughs the entire thing off. Harry is visibly confused before the camera cuts to the next couple. This awkward moment made many people question why Meghan's instinctual reaction was to giggle and push him away. Like, we understand not wanting to do any PDA on camera, but it's the kiss cam. You gotta do it. It's the law. And at number 1, Netflix. Taking the top spot on our list is the streaming giant Netflix. Why? Well, because they were a part of one of the most brutal snubs in Harry's professional career as a star. A documentary centered on Meghan and Harry was filmed, edited, and set to be released in December of last year. Unfortunately, Netflix was forced to put that project on ice after some negative comments came to light against the documentary and the show The Crown. The now King Charles was being portrayed poorly on the series, causing major backlash from the royal family. Harry and Meghan received even more backlash following the announcement that a recreation of Diana's infamous crash would be filmed for the documentary. So far, the documentary has yet to be released on Netflix, as they have claimed that it's not on their priority list at the moment. There are some behind-the-scenes issues preventing a release that may never be resolved, meaning somewhere out there is footage of the royal family doing some shady stuff that we may never see. Oh well, if you want to see them doing some shady stuff, just Google it. There's plenty to choose from.
Starting off our list today at number 10, we have She's an American. You want to know what every country has in common except for the United States? Well, apparently for some odd reason everyone hates Americans. While it's definitely rude to dislike someone based on where they're from, it still hasn't stopped people from stereotyping the actress into a certain category. When it comes to the Brits though, they have a strong dislike for Meghan, especially for this reason. Unlike the reception of the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, who belongs to aristocrat British family, Meghan Markle received a cold and hostile reception, not only from the public but also from the royal family. While Meghan was born in America and comes from an ordinary background, she supposedly failed to meet the conservative criterions of the Britons, and this could be one of the reasons why everyone hates her. Number 9. Twisted family history. While the British royal family tends to maintain a clean and pure image of the monarchy, mostly because they pay media outlets not to run with their stories, the press has painted them to be innocent little angels. However, we we all know that's not the case, as there's a lot of darkness when it comes to the royal family history. But recently, they have been painted to look like heroes that have a close bond and relationship with their other family members. Meghan Markle, on the other hand, has more of a twisted history when it comes to her family, as her approach to having a relationship with them is very unconventional. Not only has the ex-actor broken old ties she had with her father, but her relationship with her sister is also distant and remote. That being said, her relationship with her family doesn't meet the conventional requirements of the public, as we all couldn't stand it when she used the media to embarrass her father, and in the process, the way she chose to air out her family's dirty laundry, even if they weren't getting along, it just wasn't the right thing to do. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't have to wonder what we might just cover next. Number 8. The dollar store version of Princess Diana. Since Meghan and Harry sat down for their tell-all interview with Oprah, many people have weighed in on the debate and have claimed that the Duchess has attempted to garner sympathy from viewers by pointing out that there has been a lot of similarities between her and Princess Diana. But the fact she's trying to claim that she went through exactly what Diana went through is completely wrong, because each of their stories are different, and the fact that she's trying to become Diana is just as creepy as the time she admitted she kept Diana's hair near her pregnancy test. Meghan was definitely smart with the interview, because she knew that there was no better way to get viewers to empathize with her than suggesting suffering similarities to an icon of a global dimension. But even after the interview, from time to time we see Meghan recreating Diana's looks, and every time it's made us realize that her obsession with wanting to be Diana is just a little too much. Number 7. Privileged but plays the victim. So despite Meghan being able to gain an insane amount of wealth, fame, and a high social status through her marriage to Prince Harry, Meghan Markle often still portrays herself in podcasts, documentaries, and interviews as somebody who has been treated unfairly not only by the public but also by the royal family. And with saying this, Meghan's actions can come off as incongruous to many, as a lot of people struggle throughout life without all of the resources that Meghan possesses. While it seems clear from her media output that Meghan wants to portray herself as a strong person who got to where she is through her own efforts for her fame, it was largely achieved through her marriage, and she comes across as being insecure and vindictive when she tries to garner sympathy from the public. 6. Controlling and bullying. Since the beginning, critics of Meghan Markle have consistently been accusing the Duchess of not only being controlling but also being manipulative, particularly towards her husband Harry. Whenever we've seen the two sit down for an interview, it's clear that she is the one that has a tendency to dominate the conversation, and she is constantly seeking to have the limelight all to herself. But not only that, but the staff who worked in the royal household and had to tend to Meghan have also complained about how they were bullied by Meghan, as according to a report that appeared in the Times, after emails that were written by a former Kensington Palace communication secretary named Jason Now has suggested that the Duchess has also displayed totally unacceptable behavior. In the end, Meghan would have her press team issue a statement about all the bullying allegations, and since she's been trying to play that all this was leaked in an attempt to smear her name, but I don't think any of us believe that. She's just downright mean. Number 5. Reason behind the royal split. Back in January of 2021, Meghan and Harry would jointly announce that they would be exiting from the royal family. In the process, they would also announce that they would be leaving their royal duties and privileges behind so they could be more financially independent. When the couple took to their Instagram accounts to say, "We intend to step back as senior members of the royal family and work to become financially independent while continuing to support Her Majesty the Queen," the British public began to blame the Duchess rather than looking at the reasons to what drew Meghan and Harry to make this decision and take it seriously. However, after they left the royal family, Harry and Meghan did nothing to support the Queen, and instead they started signing up for interviews, documentaries, shows, even started writing books where they aired out all of the royal secrets and problems just so they could make money. And behind it all, it's clear Meghan was behind all of these business moves, as she was the one who talked majority of the time in the interviews while Harry sat there being quiet with blank facial expressions. Number 4. Hypocritical. The Duchess of Sussex has played an active role in promoting various causes which include environmental, social, political, and anti-bullying. However, it has led to backlash in certain quarters, with some people claiming that she doesn't practice what she preaches. Examples of her alleged hypocrisy include: A. She bullied palace staff members by making them cry and quit their jobs. B. Extorting about the environment while flying around the globe in private jets. C. Claiming that she's very ordinary while spending lavishly on clothing and housings and living extravagantly. D. Gaining fame and wealth from her association with the British royal family while constantly attacking them. Meghan Markle isn't any of the things she stands for, which is honestly just sad, and it proves that we just can't trust anything she says, as the path she's on to self-destruction, and she acts like she's never even heard of King Midas, but she probably should take note from that. Number 3. Establishment. It's clear that the royal family are very much on top of the British establishment, despite their reticence to respond directly to criticism in the public. They do have an enormous amount of power at their disposal. This doesn't just consist of their own wealth and status, but also includes the resources of the nation state that they are head of. With saying that, there has always been this notion that Meghan Markle was an outsider when she married into the royal family, and because of this, she herself has even stated that she has always felt like she was never truly welcome by anyone. However, a lot of people, especially people in the UK, have automatically taken the side of the royal establishment, and this translates into expressing antipathy towards Meghan, which has left her to feel like she is David and Goliath. But it hasn't exactly always been this way, as everyone used to actually love her, including the royal family, until the bullying allegations emerged, and then after that, everything took a sharp turn and we all went on the side of the royal family. But that's just how the establishment works, right? Number 2. Social status. For someone who pushes an egalitarian agenda, Meghan Markle can seem at times to be excessively concerned with the social status of herself and her family. She seems to desire the standing that goes with being royal without wanting all the baggage that comes along with it. While Meghan has claimed that she doesn't want to be royal or have her royal duties, during interviews she has expressed how upset she is that her family wouldn't be given security, and that she was furious that when she found out her children, Archie and Lilibet, wouldn't be given royal status because the Sussexes were not working royals. Meghan's always wanted to be famous. That has been her dream from the start, and when her modeling career didn't work out, she turned to Deal or No Deal, and when that didn't work out, she turned to acting, and when her acting career turned out to be a major flop despite her role in the hit Canadian show Suits, when she found out Harry was single, she jumped on it and manipulated him into loving her, and as soon as she entered into the royal family, she got noticed and she loved every part of it, but she knew she didn't want to be forgotten, so she started to stir the pot, and that's exactly what she did to get the level of fame she has today. And coming in at number 1 today, we have Against Royal Traditions. When it comes to her style, Meghan Markle has always had a habit when it comes to breaking royal traditions. With the Duchess loving dark nail polish, collarbone bearing necklines, and pantsuits, she has caused the media to go bananas every time she has gone against royal protocols, whether it's with her outfits or with her email schedule. Inside the palace though, the narrative is totally different. One thing that has come to light in recent years is that Meghan Markle does not shy away from listening to her heart, as she has gone on to marry into the British family to making a mega exit. And because this happened, she has been heavily criticized and condemned for breaking royal traditions. While there's definitely no book on royal etiquette, Meghan has chosen to do things a little differently, and in the process, she has caused a lot of people to look down on her and criticize her for everything she does. Coming in number 10, we have the raunchy car scene from Beverly Hills 90210. If there was one scene Harry wished he never saw, it would be the one that came 2 years after Meghan Markle left her Deal or No Deal gig. She would make a cameo in the hit series Beverly Hills 90210 for a pretty raunchy car scene with a high school hunk. When the former actress appeared in the premiere episode of the Beverly Hills 90210 reboot, which aired in 2008, her character was caught getting frisky in the front seat of a car with co-star Dustin Milligan, who played Ethan. Her character Wendy and Ethan were seen enjoying their intimate moment in broad daylight before being caught by Annie Wilson, who played Shanae Grimes. Annie is particularly shocked as Ethan already has a girlfriend, Naomi Clark, who is played by Annalyn McCord. Since the clip has resurfaced, many people have been calling Markle a hypocrite as she left one bimbo gig for another. Markle was reportedly hesitant to reenact the scene for the role, but despite wanting a career that didn't objectify women years earlier, she would book the gig anyways. Markle would then claim that she quit Deal or No Deal in 2006 because she didn't like being objectified by sucking in her stomach and wearing fake lashes and hair extensions. Meghan alleged her experience has since caused an uproar over her treatment, as That's TV, what did you think was going to happen? You know, that's what the show was, and that's probably why Harry is having a hard time after watching these scenes. Number 9. The bedroom scene in Random Encounter. encounters. One of the scenes Harry wasn't so particular about when it came to Meghan's former acting career would come years earlier before her relationship with Prince Harry, and it would actually be the role that thrusted her into the spotlight. The role in question was when Meghan was given the part in a little-known film called Random Encounters. The scenes from the 2013 rom-com show featured Meghan being shown slipping into silky lingerie, and then she would be seen having an intimate moment with a male co-star. While in character, Meghan would then be set to play Mindy, who was known to be a bed-hopping party girl. In one particular raunchy scene, Meghan could be seen undressing her co-star Michael as her character was trying to make a move in the dimly lit apartment. After the show was first released in the US, the movie would then be released on DVD in the UK for the first time in May of 2018, less than 2 weeks before Meghan was set to marry Prince Harry on their wedding day. Well, I can only guess this was when Harry first watched the scene. This doesn't throw you red flags that maybe you shouldn't be marrying someone, then I don't know what else to say. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming number 8, we have Meghan cheating. So back in November, the tabloids report that a divorce may be headed towards Prince Harry and Meghan Markle shortly. However, considering that the two enjoy being miserable together, it seems pretty unlikely at this point. The new scandal at the English royal court would reveal that Harry would receive a call from Archie's school after his wife hadn't shown up to pick him up. Meghan apparently forgot about Archie because she was too busy doing something else with her bodyguard, Chris Sanchez. And the incident would leave Prince Harry furious, at least. Soon there would then be also a photo which has not been released yet, and the photo, sources would say, you could see Prince Harry, who had just returned home with his 2 children, lashing out at Meghan, who was hysterical and would say several times that she wanted to divorce him immediately. And while this could just be a rumor, it's kind of hard to believe that the story isn't true, since she once cheated on Canadian chef Corey Vitiello and wouldn't even break up with him until after news outlets reported that she was dating Prince Harry. So I'll let you do the math and decide if Meghan really cheated or not. Number 7, the steamy kiss with her colleague in Suits. Now before Meghan got with Prince Harry, she got her first big role in the show Suits. And while it may have been a big role for the actress, many still don't know what Suits is because, let's face it, the show was filmed in Canada and many people just don't like Canadian films, even though some of them are actually fire. Meghan played paralegal Rachel Zane on the show for 7 seasons from 2011 to 2018, and during the years on the show, the actress was involved in some pretty very steamy scenes that definitely did not sit well with Prince Harry, and I can see why he wished he never googled his wife in the first place to find her secrets. To kick things off, Rachel and her co-star in the 2nd season. Rachel would share a steamy kiss with her colleague Mike Ross, who is played by Patrick J. Adams. The pair were fully aware he was in a relationship with Jenny Griffiths at the time, who happened to be the ex-girlfriend of Mike's old best friend. But that didn't stop Rachel from leaning in for a passionate snog, which happened in a brief look in the eye and an arm grab. Now fans watching wouldn't be particularly surprised by the kiss, as Mike and Rachel had a bunch of steamy moments that gave old fans this hint that the two were going to jump into a relationship at some point. Number 6, daddy issues. Since finding out about Meghan's daddy issues, Prince Harry has been blaming himself, as he feels like he's the reason why Meghan Markle no longer has a relationship with her father, Thomas Markle. In the Harry and Meghan Netflix docu-series, Harry would say, of course, it's incredibly sad what happened. She had a father before this, now she doesn't have a father. I shouldered that, because if Meg wasn't with me, then her dad would still be her dad. It's amazing what people will do when offered a huge amount of money, $50,000, $100,000, to hand over photographs to create a story. Thank God, most of them said no. After Thomas originally made headlines in 2018, he ultimately didn't attend his daughter's wedding, and just days before the ceremony, he would announce that he was unable to fly to England to attend. Following Harry and Meghan's big move to the United States, the former actress would then also know that she lost her father after becoming a royal, as her father had the inability to tell her the truth about the paparazzi photos. Finding out about Meghan's broken relationship with her family definitely had a huge impact on Harry, as he feels responsible that he is the reason behind her family icing her out, and it's been a huge impact for him to deal with. Number 5, the X-rated romp in the office scenes in Suits. When Mike Ross and Rachel Zane finally had their first official date on Suits, it would end up with the two having a pretty sizzling moment in Pearson Hardman Legal Library, where Mike strips Rachel down to her underwear in the throes of passion. Meghan's and Patrick J. Adams' characters stripped off as they got hot and sweaty in the most raunchy scene during the second season. The sizzling scene in episode 16 was probably one of the most iconic moments in Suits, as it was the moment we all were waiting for. And I understandably can see why maybe Harry wanted to never see this scene personally, because the chemistry in this scene alone was enough to send any partner into a frenzy of worry that there was something happening, not just on screen, but there might have been something happening behind the screen as well. The scene was so saucy, it was probably one of the most widely shared clips of the series, and it would be unearthed once again after Meghan and Harry started dating. As no one really wanted to believe Meghan would end up with anyone other than Patrick, that's probably why a lot of fans didn't support her relationship with Harry to begin with. Number 4, Family Feud. The humiliation for Meghan and Harry really started after Meghan started to speak against the royal family. And at this point, it seems like Harry would just do anything to forget Meghan even started the battle with his family in the first place. If Meghan never told Harry that she was fighting with his family or having a tough time, they would probably still be in the royal family doing their royal duties, but instead, now they're being iced out completely. At the height of their feud with the royal family, they have unleashed almost all their darkest secrets, and their Netflix documentary has been described as being a great portrayal. With the two playing a part to gain sympathy, what we really ended up witnessing is a narcissistic, egotistical, privileged outpouring of a couple that is bent on getting revenge. Shamefully, it seems like Meghan has cornered Prince Harry to throw his brother, father, and even his grandmother under a big red double-decker bus just so he can make his wife happy. However, it's clear that Harry is miserable and he just wants his family back. In Harry's new book, he would speak about various incidents and issues that he perceived that have caused the irreparable relationship between his father, brother, him, and Meghan. Because of Meghan, Harry has turned his family life into an episode of the Kardashians. While Harry may want his family back, if Meghan never told him how she felt about his family, he probably wouldn't be in the situation he is today, and he would still be in their lives. But Americans make things so dramatic for no reason whatsoever. Coming in number 3, we have the sizzling scene in the bedroom in Suits. In the early days of Meghan's relationship, Harry definitely made the worst mistake of all when he looked up one particularly sizzling scene in the bedroom from the show Suits. The scene would scare Harry so much that he even made a joke that he needed to undergo electric shock therapy just to burn the images from his brain. It's clear that Meghan and Patrick, during any of the scenes, they had passionate and a playful time together. And while it's been said that Harry lusted over her for 2 years before they actually met, as he was a big fan of the show, imagine dating someone who had such a powerful connection with their co-star. In this particular saucy scene from the hit series Suits, Mike and Rachel spiced things up in the bedroom when Mike began to run his fingers up Meghan's leg before the pair playfully slipped under the sheets in a suggestive manner. It really didn't take two to figure out what was actually going on. However, before things got a little too racy, the actress stopped him and the pair just began flirting and kissing. Rachel's love story with Mike has been a big draw for fans across all 7 seasons she was on the show for, and it was a long road that was filled with drama and emotion. Every snog left us all memorized, and as the show went on, the two just turned up their flirty banter and neck kisses, and just the cheeky charm alone was enough to make anyone's heart flutter. Number 2, mental health struggles. One thing has been clear is Prince Harry really wishes his wife didn't tell him about her mental health struggles because he really didn't know how to deal with it. In Volume 2, Episode 4 in the Netflix docuseries Harry and Meghan, the Duchess would recall having some really dark thoughts surrounding her life while at the height of her tensions with the rest of the royal family, and it consists of attacks from the British press, and Prince Harry would go on to say that he wishes he could go back in time and change the way he reacted to Meghan's mental health struggles when they were still living as senior royals because he really didn't know how to help her. Meghan's depression battle would remind Harry of what he saw happen to his own mother, Princess Diana, who openly struggled with her mental health while working as a senior royal, and it upset him even more because he didn't stop it before it escalated. Harry would go on to say that he was devastated because he knew she was struggling and that that he never thought it would get to that stage, and when it did get to that stage and Meghan told him about it, he just felt really angry and ashamed. While Harry has also admitted that he thought he understood Meghan's struggle, he also feels as though he was blinded by his commitment to royal duties at the time, so he didn't give Meghan the support she needed, and since the prince really hasn't been dealing with it particularly well. And number 1 today we have the passionate embrace in Suits. So the protagonist love interest Meghan played in Suits has caused her husband to discuss and express his discomfort after seeing her X-rated scenes, with Harry saying that he witnessed her and her castmate mauling each other in some sort of office or conference room. He really didn't need to see such things live. In season 5 footage from the show Suits, it would show Meghan wearing a skimpy little black slip as she engaged in a passionate embrace with her on-screen boyfriend Mike Ross. The unearthed footage would then show Meghan's character Rachel Zhang cozying up to her on-screen boyfriend Mike between the sheets. While Meghan laid in the bed wearing the skimpy black slip, she can also be seen chatting to her on-screen lover in the bed before they became entangled in a passionate embrace. With Harry's new book opening up about his life and giving new insights to the royal family, it's clear that Harry might just not trust Meghan because of her saucy scenes with her co-star, and he may be left feeling worried that his wife had feelings for another man, but it seems like he was able to get these images out of his head since Patrick, after all, was in the front row at their wedding. Coming at number 10 we have William attacks Harry. Prince Harry has said that he saw red mist in his brother Prince William's eyes when his older sibling allegedly attacked him during a confrontation over the younger Duke's relationship with Meghan Markle, with this being one of several revelations the Duke has made in his new book Spare. Harry would allege that the Prince of Wales grabbed him by his collar before ripping his necklace and knocking him to the ground. This would happen after William had called the American actress difficult, rude, and abrasive. While Harry has explained that the incident happened all so fast, the incident would cause Harry to land on a dog bowl that would crack under his back, and pieces of the bowl would then cut into Harry in the process. With Harry lying on the floor for a moment, feeling dazed, he then got up onto his feet and told his brother to get out. The incident is said to have taken place at Nottingham Cottage back in 2019 when Harry was living there, and it started when William arrived to complain about Meghan. And now it's starting to make a whole lot of sense on why Meghan and Harry skipped out on spending Christmas with the royal family that year. Coming at number 9 we have Diana hid for years. We were all shocked when we learned that Harry would be discussing some never-before secrets surrounding his mother's passing in his new book, and let me tell you, Charles definitely has his hands full with this. In Harry's forthcoming memoir Spare, Harry would state that for years he thought his mother went into hiding after the world came to learn about her passing. Harry would also say he admitted this thought to his brother Prince William after his brother missed a yearly ski trip to Colchester because he hated posing for photographs. Harry would then note that William even admitted that he used to believe the same thing. Now the world would come to learn of Princess Diana's passing in August of 1997 after she passed away due to injuries she obtained in a car crash while she was in Paris. Harry would then claim that he even believed that Princess Diana had faked her passing to escape the scrutiny, as he would recall that her life had been miserable as she was constantly being hounded, harassed, lied about, and even lied to. So he thought she staged the accident so she could create a diversion and run away. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Coming at number 8 we have Diana's passing. So after Diana passed away in a tragic car accident in Paris, Harry would open up about how he learned about her passing. Writing about his mother's passing, Harry would state that he was only 12 years old when he would be woken up by his father after he came into his room and sat on Harry's bed while putting a hand on his knee. According to the Duke, Charles then said, "My dear son, Mom has been in a car accident. There have been complications. Mom has been seriously injured and has been taken to hospital. My dear son." Harry would go on to imply that Charles kept calling him his dear son, and when he was speaking really quietly, it would give him the impression that Charles was in shock. However, the whole thing just seems pretty sad because Harry said he didn't even cry and his father didn't even hug him during the conversation. He just placed his hand on his knee and told him it would all be okay. This is when also Harry would notice that Charles had already broken the news to his older brother William. It just seems a little strange the way Charles went into his room to break the news news, and it makes you question if there was anything really fishy that went on with the passing of Princess Diana. Number 7. Prince Philip's passing. The start of Harry's memoir, Spare, would begin with him detailing the sad moment his grandmother, the late Queen Elizabeth II, told him that his grandfather, Prince Philip, had passed away. Just days before Philip's funeral, Harry added that he woke up to 32 missed calls before having a brief conversation with the Queen, in which she informed him of Philip's passing. Harry has also recalled the harrowing conversation in which the late monarch said, "Harry, grandfather has passed away." Prince Harry has also described the moment he was told of Prince Philip's passing and how he turned up to Frogmore Gardens in Windsor after Prince Philip's funeral. He would also state it was at this moment alone he would reflect on how sad it was. Frogmore Cottage was to be his and Meghan's home for life before they left royal duties behind. Harry was among 30 attendees at Prince Philip's funeral service in Windsor in April of 2021, as the lockdown restrictions at the time meant a strict limit on the number of people that were allowed to attend. Number 6. William and Kate approved the Halloween costume. Another royal bombshell moment Harry exposed in his memoir is that Prince William and Princess Kate were actually the ones who encouraged him to wear the infamous German uniform he donned at a 2005 costume party for Halloween. Harry recalled the decision to wear the uniform was the biggest mistake of his life in his 2022 Netflix docuseries, Harry and Meghan. When Harry recalled picking up the offensive grab in his upcoming memoir, Spare, he would say, "I went up and down rows, sifting through racks, seeing nothing I liked. With time running out, I narrowed my options to tow a British pilot's uniform and a sand-colored German uniform with an armband and a flat cap." Harry then recalls that he called Kate and William to ask what they thought, and they picked out the offensive German uniform. So Harry rented it plus a silly mustache, and after getting the costume, he went back to their house and tried it all on. He then noted that both Prince William and Kate howled in laughter as they pointed fingers at him, rolling on the floor in laughter. Harry would then apologize again for his poor choice of costume, and he went on to say he was really sorry if he caused any offense or embarrassment to anyone. Number 5. Brothers asked Charles not to marry Camilla. As more details of Prince Harry's hotly anticipated memoir, Spare, is revealed, there have been a number of moments from the royal past that are coming up into the spotlight. Among these reports, Harry would claim that he and his brother had asked their father not to marry Camilla. Back in 1996, Charles would famously divorce Princess Diana following several years of formal separation and a messy public scandal surrounding Charles's extramarital affairs with Camilla. After the divorce, Charles would go on a date with Camilla, but their relationship would remain highly controversial. When the question came, Harry and William proposed to the king that they would welcome Camilla into the family, and the only thing they asked in return was that he never married her. Harry would say that the brother said, "You don't need to get married again." Harry would also share his first impressions of his stepmother, the Duke, and he described her as being calm or bored, and he even expressed his concerns that she would be an evil stepmother, but then he concluded that she wasn't. For years there has been speculations as to how William and Harry may have felt about their stepmother. Now we're finally starting to hear the details, and I wonder how Charles now feels that Camilla knows that his kids told him not to marry her. Number 4. Substance abuse. In one candid moment in Harry's memoir, he would claim that he took some substances and that a journalist even threatened to publish a photo of him using the substance. Being 17 at the time, the prince would recall that he was offered the substance during a hunting weekend, but after taking it, he didn't really find it much fun. Harry would say, "It wasn't much fun, and it didn't make me feel particularly happy the way the others seemed to. But it did make me feel different, and that was my main goal, to be different." Harry admitted when he was 17 he was pretty much willing to try anything that would upset the established order. However, the prince would then describe the incident as being one of the biggest mistakes of his life, and he also felt so ashamed after doing the substance that all he wanted to do afterwards was make things right. Later in the memoir, Harry would even detail how a journalist would threaten to expose him using the substance and that they would publish a photograph of the Duke using it. For the journalist eventually admitted that the photo didn't even exist. Number 3. Camilla leaks stories. Prince Harry has accused Queen Consort Camilla of engaging in a campaign to get closer to the crown by marrying Prince Charles. Alongside this, Harry has also accused her of leaking stories to the press about Harry and their first meeting. Harry has also alleged that Camilla sacrificed him to improve her own public image. In his book, Harry would claim that Camilla campaigned for her marriage to Charles in 2005 so that she could potentially become queen. And while Harry and William wanted to promise their father they would welcome her into the family, Charles would not respond to their request that he would never marry her. In one of the most explosive extracts of the book, Harry would go on to accuse his stepmother and Angela Kelly of leaking stories to the press that included details of the hunting trip he went on in Germany, where he got exposed to those substances. Harry also revealed that it was only when he got the backing from William is when his father took things seriously and finally confronted her on it. But to sell stories to the press about your own stepson in order to save your own reputation is kinda just sad and petty, and it makes you just shake your head knowing that Charles would even want to marry a woman like that. And he should have never left Diana. That was his biggest mistake. Number 2, the last conversation with the Queen. One of the most heartbreaking stories in Harry's memoir is when he revealed his emotional final words to his beloved grandmother, the Queen, at Balmoral, just hours before she passed away. In his autobiography, Harry would describe that he whispered into her ear and told her that he hoped she was happy and that she would finally be able to reunite with Prince Philip, who passed away a year earlier. Harry would also go on to tell his grandmother that he admired her for having carried out her duties until the end. Harry would then say he scrambled to Scotland to see his grandmother on September 8th last year after Buckingham Palace had announced that she was gravely ill. However, he failed to reach the estate before she passed away at the age of 96. In a moving passage, the Duke would describe that he learned the Queen's passing after he checked the BBC News website. Upon arriving at Balmoral, he was greeted by Anne, the Princess Royal, who took him upstairs to the room where his grandmother was still lying. Harry would then say, "I advanced with uncertainty, and I saw her. I stayed still watching her carefully for a good while." And that's when he whispered in her ear. And while Harry's last words to the Queen definitely made majority of us cry, it proves that even after everything, his heart remained pure, and he would always serve, even if he wasn't a part of the royal family any longer. Coming at number 1 today, we have Prince William, the arch nemesis. Now, we all knew the rift between Harry and William was pretty bad, and I don't think any of us really realized how bad the rift between the two brothers really was. As siblings fight, that's natural. But to claim your sibling as your enemy is something you only really see in Disney movies. In Harry's memoir, Harry will refer to Prince William as his beloved brother and arch nemesis. When questioned about the quote in a clip from an interview with Good Morning America with anchor Michael Strahan, Harry would hold nothing back. In the interview, when the quote came up, Harry would explain that there was always going to be competition between the two brothers. Harry would then go on to explain the strong words he had by saying, "I think it really plays into or was played by heir." He went on to refer to Prince William's role as future king while he moved down the line of succession as Prince William and Kate had children. While Harry never wanted things to get to where they are today, all he wants at the end of the day is a family and not an institution.